As a critical care nurse, I understand the importance of oral hygiene due to its direct correlation to pneumonia prevention, but I was always frustrated by my inability to thoroughly cleanse the oral cavity. And one patient in particular will always stay with me. He was on his life support in his 50s, but with a great prognosis for recovery. He had poor oral hygiene that we couldn't correct. He developed ventilator-acquired pneumonia, became septic, and died as a result of multi-organ failure. And his kids were in high school. And this devastating event made me realize we urgently need innovation in the oral hygiene space. So the diagnosis of ventilator-acquired pneumonia is not sensitive or specific. It's not automatable or reproducible. So the CDC no longer requires it to be reported because it's just not a great way of benchmarking care between facilities due to its subjectivity. And as you can imagine, the last thing that a critically ill patient needs is pneumonia. If they survive, it results in additional length of mechanical ventilation, ICU stay, and general ward stay. And in this really expensive inpatient care environment, the cost per incidence exceeds $100,000, which is absorbed by the provider. Let's just take a moment to appreciate how well our bodies are designed. So for all of us here in this room, our mouths are constantly cleansing themselves. So we're eating, drinking, salivating, swallowing, and all of these mechanisms are overridden in a mechanically ventilated patient. They're not able to eat or drink. Their saliva production completely declines. Their oral microbiome shifts from gram-positive dental pathogens at 48 hours to gram-negative respiratory pathogens, and the tube that connects the mechanical ventilator to the patient's lungs is providing a direct route for these germs to enter the lungs. And this tube's also crowding the oral cavity, making it impossible for nurses to visualize beyond the tube or reach behind the tube. So these are disgusting images, I'm sorry, but we experience them. So what happens is we get thick secretions and mucus plugs established beyond the tube. And really without the ability to rinse after brushing, we're essentially just kind of pushing organic debris around the oral cavity. So this one study questioned ICU nurses and their experience in providing oral care, and 47% said that despite providing high quality oral care, the oral health of their patients declined regardless. So I think that's really telling us something. So we've developed the Swish Kit, which is the first medical device to ever rinse the mouths of mechanically ventilated patients. Its elegant design, unique topology, and living hinge makes it easy to place within the oral cavity of sedated uncooperative patients. And it allows us to rinse all areas that previously we could not reach. When patients are extubated, they complain of sore throat, extreme thirst, they have cracked mucous membranes. This is drastically going to improve patient experience, and it'll allow us to rinse away everything that's been mechanically dislodged throughout toothbrushing. It's designed to prevent harmful colonization of respiratory pathogens, and it's fast and easy to use and fits within the workflow of an ICU. So we've been in product development now for the past 3 years, and in the past year and 2 years alone, high-hitting, high-quality, high-powered evidence is coming out showing that oral hygiene is moving the needle in objective, measurable patient outcomes. Practice guidelines are changing. Toothbrushing has become an essential practice. Chlorhexidine is no longer recommended. So it's kind of leaving institutions scrambling for a solution. So the tailwinds of all of these activities are really, I believe, what's making us so well received. So here's a video of a nurse placing the Swish Kit into the mouth of a mechanically ventilated patient. It goes under the ET tube. The suction arm fits in the buccal pocket. The irrigation plate fits between the teeth on the opposite side. The patient is rolled laterally. The suction arm connects to wall-mounted suction. A syringe connects to the irrigation arm. And we're simply just simultaneously irrigating and suctioning with no dwell time. It's literally that easy. The device simply comes out. What we've observed in our clinical uses is that the nurses kind of fumble a little bit with the device upon first use, but the second time they knock it out of the park. So we completed a really successful validation study at the Cleveland Clinic in Ohio. The primary endpoint was procedural success. We showed that we didn't translocate fluid from the oral cavity to the subglottic space. The nurses said it was easy to use. They said it should be adopted in routine oral care of vented patients. And they said that the improvement in care is worth the effort to use the device. So this is a large accessible market, $1.2 billion for the beachhead, which is long-term vented patients. When we expand that globally, we're looking at $3 billion, but we do have extended patient populations for patients with altered level of consciousness, so such as hospice, for comfort care, but also patients with poor oral effort coordination, so post-stroke, dysphagia, long-term tube-fed patients. And we do have natural product extensions in our pipeline as well. So there are a number of multinational companies out there that provide the tools that exist today to brush, wipe, and suction. And in addition, the Swish Kit should be used to rinse the oral cavity. So we're creating a new revenue stream in a well-established market. We have strong IP protection in place with the goal of protecting the commercial advantageous aspects of the device, as well as preventing design arounds. So we've got a two-prong approach for our go-to market right now. We're building clinical evidence to support our value proposition, and I'm happy to say we enrolled our first patient in our bacterial reduction study at the Cleveland Clinic, and we're also going to gain commercial traction during our limited commercial launch with our early adopters. And in Q1 of 2025, after we close our Series A, we're gonna do a full commercial launch of our flagship product, conduct an outcome study to show the cost benefit of the device, and transfer to high volume manufacturing for cost reduction. So I'm a first-time entrepreneur, and I have an exceptional team with requisite skills in developing and commercializing medical technologies. So in 2024, like I said, we're going to be really nurturing our early adopters and champions for our product and reference customers for our full commercial launch, and we are going to scale our revenue to surpass $24 million in 2027. We're going to improve our gross margin as we scale and be EBITDA positive in 2027. We've made tremendous progress with limited funds, which I think is a huge testament to our team. We closed our pre-seed round in September of 2021 for $775,000. We registered the device with the FDA and validated it at one of the top hospitals in the US. And in April 2023, we closed our seed round for $2.4 million, and we'll complete our bacterial reduction study at the Cleveland Clinic and gain repeat revenue with our early adopters. So this time next year, we're going to close our Series A for $10 million for our full commercial launch, which will develop a regional distribution channel with and an RN clinical support team to go behind and drive in hospital use, scale operations in our team in the US, achieve $5 million in revenue, achieve cost reduction, and our outcome study. So we think there are multiple categories for acquisition opportunities. So we know that our product works well with respiratory consumables such as Hollister Incrafast and others. This could be acquired by a medical supply company that's well-versed in high-volume disposables, or I can see this being a great competitive advantage for an existing oral care product line such as Stryker, maybe Sage Products and kitted with a 24-hour bedside kit. So in summary, this is a large market opportunity with multiple paths for potential acquisition on modest invested capital. We're 510(k) exempt, we're registered with the FDA, no technical hurdles to overcome. We've been validated at the Cleveland Clinic. It's a single-use, high-margin disposable that's profitable at launch. We've got strong IP protection in place and an experienced team with a track record of gaining commercial traction in a very time and capital-efficient manner. And we're solving a huge gap in care that's been acknowledged by every critical care nurse that we've interacted with. Thanks so much for your time.